dreamers versus executors.
I feel like a lot of creatives are dreamers.
Today we have on BRYAN Law. You guys might know him on Instagram at Bryan's Mediums.
I run Gallery Stills, the clothing brand, and then I do photography. Really thankful and grateful that I was depressed in high school. It changed my mindset a lot on wanting to do things for myself, because it was really just, yo, I'm really depressed. I need to find something that's like gonna save my life right now.
Right.
And it was photo, clothing.
Hi everyone, I'm Hannah and we are back for another episode of BULGOGI Pod. Today we have on BRYAN Law. You guys might know him on Instagram at Bryan's Mediums, or you guys might recognize his stuff. He's rocking gallery stills. So if you
Old shirt. But it's coming back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I discovered you through mutual friends, but I remember seeing your clothes and especially your early shoots. I think it was the westerny one. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the one I did with Grant. The collab. Yeah, that was way back.
Sick.
Thank you.
That was one of the first collections I saw.
Yeah, that was super early into the brand.
Yeah, yeah. And so are you a designer by trade, or what's kind of your background? What are you doing?
Okay, so I run Gallery Stills, the clothing brand, and then I do photography. I creative direct as well.
Oh,
I used to do graphic design and set design, but I've been kind of straying away from that and just kind of narrowing what I'm decent at.
And so, yeah, I mean, we were just chatting before this and you mentioned how your class of 2020.
Class of 2020.
And you're 21 right now.
I am 21. 02 baby.
That's crazy.
Am I the youngest?
I think so. The youngest on the podcast. And so, where did you grow up?
I grew up in the 626.
Oh, okay.
So
is your phone number 626?
It is.
Oh, okay.
In the San Gabriel Valley. So El Monte, Rosemead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I grew up there for most of my life, and then up until middle school, moved out of state.
Oh, okay.
To Wisconsin.
Oh.
I only went to Wisconsin for high school.
What? That's such a late move.
Short story, my mom remarried to a guy that she met out there. So then I got dragged out there for high school.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so what was that experience like? Because when I was growing up, my dad was in the Air Force, and so me and my sister. You were a military baby. Yeah, I was a military baby, and so the family had to move a couple times, and I remember my dad always saying moving is good for you, you learn how to make friends and all this stuff. But to be quite honest, I think he was trying to skew the experience in a good way, so I wasn't victimizing myself and being I'm shy, I hate making new friends. And so I'm very grateful for his perspective, but then in hindsight I'm that was kind of hard,
for sure,
having to pick up and move. And so what was it moving to Wisconsin of all places for high school?
I feel the move itself wasn't as bad because I grew up moving around a lot as a kid growing up here. But have you watched Twilight?
Yeah.
It's like that. I lived in I didn't move to the city. I moved into the boonies. What? I moved into a town of 8,000 people. Probably wouldn't be the person I am today without moving to Wisconsin.
How do you think it shaped you as a human being then?
Or before I went there, all I knew was basketball, because basketball was really life for me.
Ball is life.
No, literally, ball is life. I know every dude says it, but ball was really life for me. When I did move to Wisconsin, I actually ended up quitting, and I kind of hated myself for it.
You hated yourself in the moment, or in hindsight, you think?
In the moment, for sure. A little bit in hindsight too. A little bit of both.
Yeah.
I also really did not like high school and the way education was presented to students.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was very it seems it's for people that are gonna work for someone else. But what if I wanted to start my own kind of thing?
Ooh.
What if I wanted to be my own boss?
Right.
Or, and I feel there wasn't enough of that exposure in high school for me.
Right.
And I realized that. So then I was I'm just going to start something on my own then. Which is why Clubhouse and then Gallery Stills happened.
Right.
But yeah.
That's so crazy that you recognize that so early.
Oh, I think it's because that, okay, so I don't really tell too many people this, but it's my first podcast, so we're gonna get deep into it. After my sophomore year, after I picked up the camera, I was going through hella family problems and issues. I got diagnosed with depression, so I was really at the lowest of the lows in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
My junior and senior year, because I got diagnosed the end of my sophomore year.
Oh, that's hard.
So yeah, I think, but during that, I'm really thankful and grateful that I was depressed in high school for my last 2 years of high school because I feel like I had a lot of alone time just to like sit in my room and think about life and, you know, and kind of weigh the pros and cons of what I'm thinking. Yeah. So I did that. And I think because that I was like diagnosed with depression in high school, it changed my mindset a lot.
Okay.
On wanting to do things for myself.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. It really like during that time I was depressed, I feel like I grew up a little more at a faster rate than, you know, people my age usually do. And I think that's also why I hang out with a lot of like older people. I'm the youngest of the group. But yeah, I think that's where my mindset comes from, like my junior and senior year.
Right.
Because it was really just, I'm really depressed. I need to find something that's like gonna save my life right now. Right. And it was photo, clothing, and you know, I would say friends and family, but I wasn't with my friends and family. They were all in LA, you know? Right. So those were like the two things that really like stuck with me and like kind of saved me. And I just kind of ran with that. Yeah.
What do you think like drew you to photography?
I don't know. Cause I had a lot of friends back in LA that were shooting photos and videos and making cool stuff.
Oh, I feel like at that time, like that was the thing.
It's like it was on the come up, right? Yeah. The creative scene was on the come up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's sick. And I was meeting a lot of people, that had like clothing brands and was working in fashion or working in film. So that was super cool. And that's how I kind of slowly inched my way into the industry a little bit, how I got started. Right.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I feel like maybe it was in middle school, I was like taking photos with my like little Canon. And like I was in yearbook and all of that. And I think there's just like something very magical about being able to like capture certain moments in life. And then also it's just like, I think it was like one of my first like exposures to anything creative. Like I feel like
it's the gateway to like, it's a gateway drug of
it
the
really
creative
is.
Stuff.
It's like the Smentzels of drugs.
Real. It's like the first Polaroid, super sick.
Yeah. Okay, for sure. And so how did you like find yourself back in LA? Like, did you just like move after high school?
Yeah, so my senior year, class of 2020, I'm class of 2020, so we had COVID hit. Yeah, like the very first time COVID was introduced like to the US and like it was in all like the news and stuff. And I was in a small town, so like, oh yeah, COVID's not gonna get over here. We're good. It's probably only gonna affect LA and New York and the big cities.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And then fast forward to winter break, it caught up to Wisconsin.
And your small town.
In my small
8,000 people.
Yeah. And at this time though, I'm in LA because I visit every school break I have to visit my friends and family back home. So while I was here, they canceled school. And I was already in LA, so I just ended up moving back here early. Oh. Because I was going to move back to LA right after I graduated.
Like anyways, right?
Yeah, and like regardless. But then it just happened to be earlier because of COVID.
Oh.
And then I've just been here since.
Oh, okay. So straight from high school, is that when like the first inception of gallery stills happened? Or like...
Actually, no. So gallery stills is low-key like a semi-recent thing. It hasn't been around for too long. But right after high school, I was talking to my cousin, Dylan. Okay. I don't think you guys met.
I don't know if
maybe.
We've met.
Dylan Trent. He's Grand Eye's other roommate.
Oh, okay. I need like a photo.
He's buzzed head, bald, tatted.
I feel like that's half of Los Angeles right now.
Okay, my fault. Anyways, he's my cousin and a really close homie. My roommate now.
Oh, cute.
I forgot how we started to get in touch again because he's from my dad's side of the family.
Oh, okay.
And I'm more on my mom's side.
So
and he's like my third distant cousin or something like that. Oh. We have a really big don't ask how I know.
Family.
It's a super big family.
Oh, I love that.
But I ended up linking up with him and he was starting to get into like film and stuff like that too. So that was super cool and I was doing photo. Oh. And then when we met up again, we were chopping it up. He's like, I do film. Oh, I do photo. So fast forward a couple months later, we actually got our own space, like studio creative space.
Oh, yeah.
And we were running a production company called Clubhouse Collection.
Oh, cool.
At first, though, it was a clothing brand.
Okay.
And basically, we were doing making clothing for a little bit. And it was doing really well.
Yeah.
We had like a little team and everything.
Oh, cool.
But I think we got burnt out making clothes.
Okay.
So we actually turned it into a production company.
Okay.
So we were shooting like music videos and like short films and mostly music videos though for like a couple of rappers.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was super cool. And then after that, we did that for I think like a year and a half.
Oh, that's a good amount of time.
It's a good amount of time. It's technically a lot of amount of time.
Oh yeah.
A year and a half, but
Especially if you're doing that like full time.
Yeah, we were basically just really rocking the freelance life and trying to,
grind,
make it out.
Yeah.
And, fend for ourselves out here in LA.
Yeah.
But after Clubhouse, because by the end of Clubhouse, we had developed a team and we had really close friends that were part of it too. But Clubhouse is really like the birthplace for this is what we call it, inside joke of our group. The Clubhouse, the space that we had was like the birth of us for all of our creative endeavors and adventures.
Oh, I love
it's
that.
Like where we were like all born as creatives. It's super cool because, although we were mostly doing film, I was still shooting photo at the studio on the side. And, I was teaching, friends that wanted to come in and learn how to screen print or, how to shoot photos, how to video edit. So it was kind of like this space where it was like, just, come through, hang out with us. And, if you guys want to learn something, we'll like sit down and try to show you as much as we can.
Wait, that's so cool. I feel like that is missing.
Yeah, it was really just like the place in the middle where people could just come and do whatever they want creative and learn.
Right.
But after a while, life happens, adulting happens, bills pay, bills come up. We had to close down the studio.
Okay.
Just because it was taking a little bit of a financial toll. And then that's where Gallery Stills comes into play.
Oh.
That's where I had the idea of, I'm going to make Gallery Stills. But at first, it wasn't a clothing brand. It was a design studio.
Oh, okay. These pivots. Yeah.
Yes, it's crazy. I know. It's too much going on.
No. But I feel like this is how it goes,
Always.
Yeah.
And basically, because the team that we had, it was me and like 3 other people. I did photo. One of them did video. One of them did marketing. So it's basically, if you had a clothing brand.
Right.
Or if you wanted to start one and you had an idea in your head of a design. Oh, you could come to us. We can design it for you.
Oh, okay,
and then,
okay.
Oh, you really like the way it looks? We can put it on a shirt for you because we print. We also print shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Do clothing production.
Interesting.
Oh, the clothes look really sick printed. You can come to us. We shoot photo and video. We'll do your marketing rollout.
Right,
or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then, you want to actually mass produce this? We can fulfill it for you too. We can do all your shipping and stuff like that. So basically, it was a one-stop shop for like your creative needs.
For everything, yeah.
Yeah, so like if you wanted a big poster printed of, I don't know, whatever you want, you could have come to us and we could have printed it for you.
Whoa.
So we were doing that for a while. Last pivot.
Yeah.
So we did this for a couple of months. And then I was like, yo, I'm not really happy doing this. I don't really like dealing with other people's, not issues.
But issues.
But issues. Like, I don't want to deal with other people's problems.
Yeah.
Respectfully, of course.
No, yeah, because I think like when you are the person like having to follow client orders and all of that, it's like, I think it's kind of painful. Like not only are there like constant edits and all that, but it's also like, I made this product this way for a reason. Like there are very specific intentions behind this. Don't mess with the vision, you know?
I'm like that now because I run a clothing brand. But when it comes to me doing work for other people, I'm like, I don't really want to be doing this.
Right. Like might as well be doing it for myself.
Exactly. So then after we were doing that for a couple months and I was like, yeah, I'm not really rocking with this.
Yeah.
I just turned Gallery Stills into a clothing brand, which was like, I've always had low-key had a love for like clothing and, making it and, feeling different like fabrics and how a piece is constructed. So I turned it into a clothing brand and then that's where we're at now, essentially.
That's sick.
Yeah, in a little nutshell, it's basically, yeah.
How has it been like in the like design process? Because there are a lot of clothing brands like popping up, a lot of like similar fonts, similar stuff like going on. And like me personally, I think last year, I'm gonna make this sound way more dramatic than it actually is, but I was freaking out because I was like, I think I lost my like sense of style.
Oh.
And I think it's because I was consuming too much content. Like I was literally like looking too much into what other people thought was trendy and all of that. And so like how do you like keep your brand identity and distinguish yourself from other brands?
It's a really good question because I don't think I know the answer fully yet. Number wise, Gallery Stills isn't that big. It's really more of a local brand, like hometown brand.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
So yeah, the question's a little tricky. But I mean, I think at the end of the day, Gallery Stills I think of it less as a clothing brand, but more of just another outlet for me to like showcase my art and or whatever feelings or thoughts I may be feeling. I used to really look at it as like from a clothing brand point of view. But it just doesn't work because if you look at it that way, it just doesn't, you don't love it anymore.
That makes sense.
You know? So I kind of just had to like, you know, I'm just going to make stuff that, you know, I like, that I love, that I'd wear. And, you know, I'd try to cater it to certain people, but at the end of the day, it's for me and no one else. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making this for me. I'm not making it for, it might sound kind of like dickish, but it's like, I'm making this as another way for me to express my art. Because, you know, I do photo, but I maybe want to express something that I feel a different way.
Right.
And I looked to clothing to do that.
Okay, different mediums. Your handle makes lots of sense.
Yes, that's exactly what my handle means.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah. I was like, I think I know.
That's exactly what my handle means.
And so, I guess for you, like, did you always envision your life going like this creative route, like this non-traditional, non-9-to-5 like life?
No, growing up, ball was life. I was trying to be a hooper. But, you know, reality hits. I'm not that tall and I'm not that buff and I'm not that strong. And I'm Asian, you know. It's not many Asians hooping out there.
Right.
But no, growing up, I always just wanted to be like an athlete, some kind of athlete. Because I grew up playing like 6 different sports. So it was like basketball, cross country, tennis, soccer.
Okay, go
you know,
off.
I did all that in high school. It was super cool.
Wow.
But to answer your question, no, I didn't really think that I was going to be a creative. And then the whole 9-to-5 thing, you know, growing up, 9-to-5 sounded good, you know? Like, if like, basketball wasn't going to work out, 9-to-5 salary, benefits.
Right.
Like, we're set.
Health insurance? Oh, my gosh.
Sounds like great. Dental?
Dental. Yeah. That too.
And I was like, wow, that sounds great. But, you know, as I progressed into my creative career, I was like, you know, I don't want to be someone that is 60 and then is thinking back on life and like, maybe I should have tried this. Like, I don't want to live with any regrets.
Right.
So I was like, no, I'm going to just stick through the night. Like, no, fuck the 9-to-5 right now. I'm just going to grind it out. I'm not, you know, 9-to-5 is cool. I have friends at 9-to-5. Hey, they love it and I respect it, you know? I'm still young, so I'm just trying to take advantage of, you know, of what I have left.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. Like, to be honest, like, I'm fully taking advantage of like this time in my life where I'm like, 9-to-5s will always be there. I can fuck around a little bit right now and like figure it out. And like, since it's always there, I can always go 9-to-5 if need be.
Exactly. Yeah. Same thing here. Even the same thing for school too. Like, it's always going to be there for me, you know? I'm going to try and, you know, figure out what I want to do now with this creative stuff. You know, try to make it work.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, we talked a little bit about how, like, in high school, you recognize that, like, maybe you want to be your own boss. Like, maybe you want to, like, start your own thing. And so there's something that I've been, like, bringing up to my friends. And it's this concept of dreamers versus executors. And so I think that a majority of people, like, maybe if I had to assign a number, 80% fall into either category. And, like, very rarely do you have the people who do both. And so the dreamers, I fall under this. It's those people who have a lot of ideas, but maybe have a hard time executing. And then you have your executors who are more so like maybe in the 9-to-5 space, or if they are in like a creative space, they're doing more of like the nitty gritty and whatnot. Like, what? Like, do you have any thoughts on that?
Myself, I think I am a big ass dreamer. I have so many ideas and things that I want to do. You know, I respect it. Like, I don't have any like harsh opinions against it. You know, I feel like a lot of creatives are dreamers, you know? I feel like most creatives actually are dreamers. I feel like when you're creating something, obviously you want to like, you know, make it pop off and, you know, you want to nail the execution. But I think issue with at least a lot of my friends that are creative and myself, it's very hard to create the product creatively and then execute it by like more with marketing. And I think it's very, you know, because when you're creative and you're like the author of a book, you don't really want to be the one to publish it. You like, know what I'm saying?
That's all the dirty work.
It's like no one really wants to do that. Even though it needs to be done.
Like, let's finish the project. People need to see
and I feel like a lot of dreamers that have an idea and work on it can't execute it because they're just too deep into creating it.
Like, you know, ideating, like, yes, let's like kind of almost make this perfect, yes, before we like go into the...
Yeah, and I feel like that's a big reason why, I'm not saying you can't be a dreamer and an executor.
Right.
But I'm saying that from my experiences, it's a lot harder. But I feel like that's a big reason why a lot of creative agencies are around now. It kind of answers that issue.
That makes sense.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like people to like actually just get things
it's like,
done.
Hey, I might work in marketing, but like I'm in creative marketing. Like I know exactly what you need done and how to do it, and I'll fulfill that for you.
Interesting.
And that's where I feel like creative agencies have kind of like popped off in the past like 2-3 years. There's like so many coming up now.
Yeah.
I think it's just because of that issue that they're trying to solve.
Whoa. And so have you like run into this, like, I guess like quote issue within like your creative projects where you're like...
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah?
Every time.
How do you like deal with that? How do you like overcome that?
I think I learned a lot how to do stuff the hard way by just doing it wrong. Because I didn't have a mentor, I didn't have anyone to go to. Doing clothing or, photo. But it still happens now to the point where it's like, dang, I maybe rushed this drop and maybe I should have worried more about the execution. I think it's something like I still deal with every day, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's a thing where I'm content with it because I'm always learning from, hey, this drop flopped, but it's okay because I didn't do this, and that.
Yeah.
And, I feel like when you're a creative, not every project is going to do great. I know that there's always more to learn, so I'm not really tripping about it too much, personally.
Ooh.
So overcome it, we just got to learn from what happened with the last one and, try to improve upon that on the next one.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think I have a hard time with that personally. Because like I grew up like very much being a perfectionist. Like I don't think that like effort was ever really rewarded. It was more so like you got to get the grades. Like this project has to be done and it has to be done well rather than like, oh, you tried, like you did your best. And so I noticed that like with creative endeavors, even with the podcast sometimes, like it's very like hard for me to like put out episodes that I'm like, oh, like I wish I asked this question or I wish I took it a different directions and whatnot. And so I like that mentality of like, like things are gonna flop. You just kind of
you just gotta roll with the punches. Yeah. Like there's nothing else you can do about it. Are you gonna sit there and dread over it for the rest of your life? No.
Right.
You're not gonna get anything done.
Yeah. And so I guess like for anyone who is a creative, maybe have had like a few projects not do so well. Like, do you have any like words of wisdom or anything like you want to like? Wisdom? Like, what did you learn?
Well, words of wisdom. It's really cliche, but it's really true. You just have to keep trying. I mean, eventually it's like, if you're a chef and you're working on like a certain recipe for a dish, and you keep trying different things, like one of them's gonna have to hit eventually. Like one of them is gonna taste good eventually. One of them is just gonna make sense eventually. And you can't get to that point unless you are failing.
Right.
It's like you're always learning from failure. You're even learning when you did something right. Hey, I tried something new and it worked this time.
Right.
You just have to keep trying no matter what.
Okay.
And of course you can't give up. There's going to be times where you're down in the shits and you're like, this isn't for me right now. But those are the times where you learn the most and you learn the most about yourself.
That's true. And so have you had any like times like that recently where you're like, oh, I don't know if this is it? Like, do you ever like doubt this like creative path that you've chosen?
Gallery Stills Design Studio and the Clubhouse production company.
Oh, do you?
Those were kind of the failed projects I considered failed, but not forgotten. Like, no, like this was like a great, I needed that in my life to know where I'm going.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So like the end of the production company, I was pretty like, damn, like I didn't really want to split. But it was my decision to tell the guys, like, I think we should split. Maybe we should all do our solo careers and come back 5 years later and we'll bring Clubhouse back together.
Right.
Fast forward, it's been a couple of years. We're not back together. But we're in the same friend group. We're all close friends.
Okay.
My thing was like, Clubhouse was, it was a really good place to bring people in and, like create like a little community.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when it split, I was like, damn.
Like this is...
But it's like, it was much needed because like looking now to the future now, it's like, everyone is like doing their thing. Yeah. Everyone is making it way further than, they ever could with like Clubhouse. Like everyone split up, doing their own thing, focusing on themselves, adulting, growing up.
Oh yeah.
And, it's cool.
Interesting.
It was super cool.
And so how did you, like, what were your thoughts during this time of like considering like should I bring this up? Does Clubhouse need to end? Like, how did you work through those thoughts?
Funny story. We were in Joshua Tree
You and all your Clubhouse team
friends? Are like half of them.
Oh, okay.
It was basically me, Dylan, and then our other friend Matt. Oh. We were at a trip, and we were kind of like, I don't want to say the higher ups, but like we kind of called the shots. And we were on a trip in Joshua Tree with like another friend group, and we were like really faded this one night. And we were just sitting on the couch in like the middle of the desert in Joshua Tree, and we were like, I was like, yo, I think we should like just split Clubhouse. It was like it was not some intrusive thought kind of thing.
Oh, and you just said it.
And then I just said it, and they were kind of like, you know what? I think so too. I think it'd be so beneficial for all of us.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then we just split.
Oh, that's so easy.
It was really easy. It was really easy. They understood. I think because we were all going through that like period of time in our careers where we were like, do we really need to be sticking with Clubhouse right now, or do I need to venture off and find myself as a creative? Oh. But that's exactly what everyone needed.
Right.
Like, to do their own solo thing, and find what they really wanted to do. Connect with the people they needed to connect with, build their networks, and then now we all just help each other out with our own personal projects.
Right.
Like when I do gallery still shoots, I call up a good amount of the same guys in Clubhouse. Yo, come help out. Because one does lighting, one does photo, one does video.
Right. It's very Brockhampton-esque, I feel like.
I guess so.
Like you guys just like get together and like everyone kind of like uses each other's like specialties.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly what it is actually.
I love that.
Yeah, it sounds kind of like very like selfish, but it's like we're all homies helping each other out.
Right.
Gallery stills also isn't my full-time thing. Photo isn't my full-time thing. I got a day job, so.
Oh, do you?
I'm a basketball coach.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know this.
I coach for middle school. I came from the gym.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. And so I'm gonna kind of pivot.
Yeah.
I know that you said that you've been dating for 4 years. And so between your day job and gallery stills and helping out all your friends on all their creative endeavors, like how are you balancing all this? Like, does this come up in discussions with your girlfriend?
It has.
Okay.
We've been dating for like 4 years since I was a sophomore.
Bro,
or I knew her since I was a sophomore, and we didn't start dating until my junior year.
Oh, okay.
She's a year older.
Okay.
But we were long distance in the beginning when I was in Wisconsin for like the first year and a half.
Oh shit, yeah.
So there's that. But when it comes to like scheduling and seeing each other and stuff, I don't think it used to be an issue because I used to just do freelance. Oh. And freelance is very sporadic.
Right.
Freelance is, yo, I'm going to need you at midnight for 4 hours, or I'm going to need you next week for 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
And they probably won't hit you till last minute about it.
It's always last. Yep.
That's the freelance life. That's the reality of it.
I also think it's like human nature.
Yeah, and it's also human nature.
Yeah.
So I think we used to struggle a lot with finding time for each other.
Right.
But I think as we progressed into a relationship, we kind of realized like, yo, I know I'm only 21, but like, yo, we're growing up. We have bills to pay now, and we have jobs, and we have to sustain our lives that we want to live. So it was more of a thing like, hey, I'll sacrifice this for you, kind of picking your battles kind of thing. Like, yo, sorry, Aaron, this week I'm not going to be able to make it. Like, I got responsibilities. Like, I gotta see my girlfriend. Like, she's my rock. She holds me down. Like, I got to make sure she's okay.
Yeah.
It was more so of that type of thing where we were kind of sacrificing little things for each other. But fast forward to now, like 4 years later, it's more so of like, hey, I understand what you do, why you do it, and why you want to do it.
Right.
It's like, hey, I'll support you if you support me kind of thing. It's like, I don't have to see you every day. Or I don't have to see you every other day. But, I love you, and, we love each other. And it's like, I understand the sacrifices that you're making to do what you want in your career. Mm-hmm. And I think we've gone to that point where we kind of bounce off each other like that.
Oh.
So we don't have issues, or like, we haven't really had any recent issues regarding like scheduling time together and stuff like that. And also it's been easier for us for our whole 4 years because I've been living alone since I was 17.
Oh, okay.
So, it was always like, I didn't have to ask my parents for my girlfriend to come over.
Oh.
It was like, yeah, come over. Like, no, like I live alone. Like, it's fine. Just come over whenever you want.
Yeah.
And it helps that we're both night owls.
Oh.
And we don't, you don't work at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning. So we just hang out late at night.
Oh, I see. Cause I feel like, I was like kind of like putting myself in like maybe your girlfriend's position of like, if I were to like be like, hey, like, we're hanging out tonight, like 8 o'clock, and then like at 7 o'clock, you're like, oh shit, I have a last minute shoot at 10. I think the first couple times it'd be like,
yeah. In the beginning, it used to be like, I'm sorry, I can't make it last minute. I have to go to the shoot. Oh. But now it's more like, I think as I matured, I'm like, yo, I got to make sure like my girl's good.
Right.
And I'm giving the time to her.
Right.
So, you know, and reciprocate the love. So now it's more like, yo, I can't make it to the shoot. I gotta go hang out with my girlfriend. Oh, it's like fuck the money, and you know, if you got me, I got you. Oh. If you hold me down, I'll hold you down.
Right. Like something interesting that you just brought up was how like it might not bring in a lot of money, but you're like willing to like sacrifice for the art of it. Like what is driving you as a creative?
Driving me as a creative?
Yeah. Because I think, right, a lot of people will take jobs because it provides stability, because it provides, you know, benefits and whatnot. Benefits. But like, I think it's easy to get discouraged when there isn't that stability, you know?
Definitely been a lot of nights where I'm just eating just a can of beans and rice. There's a lot of those nights always. Used to be a lot. I guess what drives me to keep being creative is I think when I have kids, I want them to look at their dad, me, and be like, yo, he really went after what he wanted. Because I feel like there's so many people stuck in there's nothing wrong with 9 to 5, don't get me wrong. Like there's nothing wrong with it. I have a lot of respect for people. Going through a 9 to 5 has its own hardships.
Yes.
And stuff like that. And I completely respect and understand it. Personally, I didn't want to be stuck behind a desk all day and working under someone I probably wouldn't even have a conversation to.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not ever going to talk to the CEO of this company if I just work in a cubicle.
Right.
And I feel like to me, it's very non-personable and one-dimensional.
Ooh, yeah.
And, you know, I didn't want to, energy is a big thing with me, and I really like to have good energy around me.
Okay.
And, you know, I found that by being on shoots and, you know, stuff like that. And, you know, surrounding myself with people that are like-minded. Yeah. So what drives me is really just the people that are here with me, that are like doing the same thing, you know? It's like we're all on the same mission in our own different ways. Right. Because, you know, when you want to work a 9 to 5, you're on the same mission, but you do it the same way, damn near. You apply for a 9 to 5 job. But there's so many different ways to come up in the creative field. Where I feel like it's really like a little community where it's like, hey, you took a way different like route to get here, but you know, we're here together. Right. Like something led us to the same place. Yeah. Same time. And I think that that's a big thing that drives me a lot, is just to, you know, have the friends, you know, come up with me, and, you know, I help them, they help me. It's super cool to see like growth, you know? Yeah, yeah. Like you can see growth in like 9 to 5 when you get a promotion, but it's just a little different, you know? Oh, for sure. It's just a little different. I feel like less rewarding sometimes. Yeah. It feels very like transactional. Yes. And I hate that. Yeah. I hate when things feel transactional. Oh, okay. So that's also why I really enjoy the creative life. Oh, yeah. You know? For sure. Yeah. I like that. Okay, wait. Let's do a haul really quick, actually, to wrap this up. Just do the white one? Okay. The other one's old. Let's see. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Damn. Shit, it's wrinkly as fuck. It's okay. I'll steam it. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. I'm glad you like it. Wow. I am trying to be like more font conscious. Oh, really? Because I feel like I don't know good fonts from bad fonts. And so I will stare at this and learn my fonts. But these are the most basic fonts you can use, actually. Oh, okay, really? It's like Times New Roman and like Helvetica. Oh my god. Okay. I'm a Helvetica new light girly. But yeah, thank you so much. Of course. This is so good. Thank you for having me. Yeah. Cool. And so for the people, where can they find you? You can find me. You can check my website out, bryansmediums.com. That's BRYANS. Yes, and then mediums. And then you can find me on Instagram, same thing, Bryan's Mediums. The brand, Gallery Stills, on Instagram and Threads. We're on Threads now, not on Discord. Check out their capsule drop. Love that. And you guys can find BULGOGI Pod on all platforms. You can listen wherever you want. But we do have video on Spotify and YouTube, and sick. I'm a visual girly. Sick. Yeah. And me personally, I am at HANAKATT, HANAKATT. Also, if you guys write me a review, I will love you forever. So write a review. If you want to be loved forever, please write a review on both Apple Podcasts and maybe comment on a YouTube video. But other than that, I will catch you guys next week. But thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it was super fun the first time. Yeah, let's go.